everyone, welcome to Vlogmas Day 3. So, I'm once again in my classroom. Sorry. I was planning on filming this yesterday. Just gonna be honest. So, when I got home, I was uploading the video that I recorded here. I'd been trying all afternoon to upload that video, but for some reason, I don't know if it's the cable I have that connects my phone to my laptop or what it is, but it would not transfer over. I even tried to do like an upload to Google Drive. That was taking, I think I had it running for 2 hours and it still was only like not even a third of the way. So that was stressful. So once I got home, after a staff meeting I had yesterday, I found a cable that my husband has that I connected my phone to my laptop, and that worked beautifully. I uploaded in no time. So it must be the cable that I have. I don't know. I'm going to have to find a different cable to be able to upload videos, but I'm going to, now that I know, when I go home tonight, I'm going to upload this video with my husband's cable, and then hopefully I can get this video up on time. So, yeah, today's video, I wanted to talk a lot about budgeting and budget planners. So I'll give you a little bit of my backstory when it comes to budgeting. Okay, so if I go back to like 2017, maybe 2016, I started watching a lot of YouTube videos. I already had 3 kids by then, and they were getting older. So my youngest in 2017 would have been like almost 4. So they're getting older. So that meant bills are getting expensive, school's getting expensive, friends' birthdays are getting expensive. All the things are starting to add up. And hubby was not working yet. He had a few different jobs. He went back to school to finish his undergrad degree. And then he went back to go to teacher's college, but he was only working supply work, so as a supply teacher, and that was completely unreliable. Like, there were some times where he'd go a whole month without a single job. So we were struggling financially with 3 kids. Basic needs were being met, like housing, food, that kind of thing. But we had 1 car, so hubby had to take public transit everywhere, and saving up for Christmas, Easter, birthdays, anything like that was becoming a huge problem. Plus, we still had a lot of debt hanging over us from our wedding. I mean, even going back to our wedding in 2007, we still had a lot of debt hanging over us from that. So the budget, the finances, so there was no budget at the time, but the finances were painful, and it was causing a lot of anxiety. I was having panic attacks, anxiety attacks, whatever you want to call it. I was waking up at night in a cold sweat, worrying about how we were going to pay for things. It was causing me a lot of stress. I even had to take some time off work, which I know that makes no sense, because if you're struggling financially, taking time off work is not exactly the smartest thing to do. But I was literally in so much anxiety that I couldn't even function. I wasn't sleeping. It was not good. Anyway, so I took, I think, 2 months off work. Thankfully, because of my union being a teacher here in Canada and in Ontario specifically, I have good benefits. So I was able to take that like medical leave and still be paid relatively close to what my full-time pay was. So it did not affect our finances as much as if I didn't have that union and job security kind of thing. So anyway, so that's where we're at. So while I was home having these panic attacks, anxiety attacks, I was watching YouTube. I came across some budget YouTube videos because I started looking up how to budget, ideas for budgeting, how to save up, how to finance. I came across Dave Ramsey. He was the first guy I came across. big name back then, still a big name now. And I watched all of his videos that I could. Like, I just binge watched a whole bunch. I bought his book, read the book, loved it. And then I started looking up for other YouTube videos. So other YouTubers that were doing anything budget related. I came across people who were doing grocery hauls, how to purchase groceries, save money there. I came across people who are actually budgeting. So like actually saying, this is how much I earned, this is what I have to pay, this is what I plan on saving, how to save for the future. So how to like sinking funds and savings funds and emergency funds and all the things. So that was me. That was all like 2017. In 2018, I came across a YouTube channel, Sarah Marie Stickers. You may know her. She has a YouTube channel still. She has a successful Etsy shop. I came across her budgeting videos, and she started a sticker shop selling budget stickers. Bells went off. Like, bells went off. I was like, I could do that. I could do that. I had already gotten like notebooks. I had started keeping track of things for our finances. But when I came across what she was doing in terms of making her own budget stickers, made so much sense. So I saved up, asked mom and dad for Christmas to give me a little bit of money so I could purchase my first cutting machine. I already had a printer. I had a color inkjet printer, so I didn't need a printer. I bought some sticker paper from Amazon, I think it was cheap stuff. And with my parents' help and saving up, I was able to buy my first little silhouette. I did do some research briefly on whether I would get a silhouette or a Cricut. I don't know, at the time, I don't know what it was that drew me to the silhouette. It was probably the fact that it was small, because I got the portrait and it's a lot smaller. It's like the size of like a, I don't know, hold on. I have a speaker. It's like slightly bigger than this. It's like not much bigger, I should say. It's not a huge machine. It wouldn't take a lot of space. It was relatively inexpensive. I think it was like $120 Canadian. So I went ahead and bought that. So here I am with my silhouette, my printer, my sticker paper. I just started printing budget stickers. So like headers, strips to say like income, expenses, totals, all the thing. And it was just for me at that time, because I didn't have money to be purchasing stickers from other shops, from other people. That wasn't a thing. I was trying to save money. I was trying to find ways to budget effectively so that I could help my family. So the thought of purchasing stickers from someone else was not even on the radar. But I was now able to print my own, so I could put them in a notebook. Any random notebook I had, it wasn't anything specific. I was able to put it in the notebook and then start tracking things. So that was the beginning of my budgeting journey, was a notebook, my silhouette, my printer, writing all the things down. It really helped. And it was crazy how adding those stickers to the pages and the color and the vibrancy and stuff, making it look pretty, really helped me keep going back and to keep filling it out and to keep staying on track and all the things. So that was my history when it comes to budgeting. Now, from there, I started my YouTube channel. I started with grocery hauls, which, no, I am not really good at the whole grocery haul thing. But that's how I started. I started with the grocery hauls. I eventually started adding some of my videos for budgeting. And that's how it kind of came about. So my original name was Our Budget Life. That was how I was known at the beginning, because that's all I was focused on. I was focused on budgeting. So all of that brings us to today, which that's for a whole other video. But I wanted to give kind of some information on how my budgeting journey started. So that's where it started. Now, why do I think it's important to budget? So, in my opinion, I think everyone needs to budget. Whether you have little to no money, whether you are rich, stinking rich, I think everyone should be budgeting. Obviously, budgeting will look different depending on each individual circumstances, right? It's not going to be the same for everyone. There is no two budgets that will look alike, ever. I don't imagine in any way, shape, or form that there would be more than, two budgets that look alike, because everyone's personal circumstances are different. Their bills are different. Their expenses are different. Their family life is different. Their wishes, their wants, their needs, all the things are different. So it's all going to depend on your own information. So that's one of the reasons why I think everyone should budget, no matter how much income, how many bills you have, whether you have debt, no debt, whatever. I think everyone should be budgeting. Tracking your money is one of the most important things. Now, and I will give a reason why, not only for your own personal knowledge of knowing where your money's going and, are you spending efficiently, is that the right word? I don't know, if you're making conscious decisions when you're spending, or are you just spending randomly? Do you just buy things all the time and you have no idea where your money's going, but it's gone? Okay, like Starbucks every morning, or shopping hauls, or all the things. Whether you have money or not doesn't matter, but knowing where your money is going is important. Now, one of the reasons, and I have been saying for years that budgeting is important, no matter your circumstance. However, last year and the year before, actually twice now, I have come across circumstances where the fact that I budgeted, that I kept track of things, has saved me financially, because there have been two circumstances in the past 2 years where I have been either overcharged or told that I didn't pay for something when I did. And thankfully, because I've tracked everything, I do a lot of e-transfers with notes in all of them. I keep track of everything, all the dates. Thankfully, that saved me from having to pay more or having lost money, because there were those two instances, we're talking a couple $1,000s. That's a lot of money in my world. I cannot be just losing $1,000 here and there and just be like, I'll figure it out. No. No, I need all my pennies. Thank you so much. So that's only one of the reasons why I find budgeting so important, is to make sure you can track your money, account for your money, and nobody else can tell you where your money has gone, whether it has or hasn't gone. You should be able to know where all of your pennies have gone. Not to mention, fraud is a huge thing lately. Can we just talk about that really briefly? A lot of scammers out there, a lot of text messages, phone calls, emails, a lot of links, all of these things. A lot of people out there are trying to scam people out of their money, and it is a sad situation. I feel confident that if anything like that ever happened, I would know in an instant, because I am always checking my bank account. Anyways, so that's my why I think budgeting is important. You need to be able to track your money. You need to know where it's going, and you need to be able to correct any situations, right, that may arise. So that's that. All right, let's talk about what I think are some important steps when it comes to budgeting. All right, so some steps, I'm going to break it down into 3 steps. Honestly, there's a few like sub steps, but 3 main steps for me. One is the research portion. So when it comes to research, there are a few things you need to do. One, go to your bank account. Open your bank account, look at your statements, figure out where all your money's going. Write it down for a whole month, last month, a whole month from the 1st to the 31st. Where did you spend your money? You went to Walmart, you went to McDonald's, you went to Costco, you had a Netflix subscription, you went to the gas station, you got this, you got that, all of the things. So you do research, you list everything that you purchased, everything you paid, anything that came out of your bank account, you write it down. You can categorize it, up to you, but write it down. That's research part number 1. You need to know where all your money went in the past. You can just do 1 month to start. You don't have to go do a whole year's worth of research, but at least do a full month so that you can see, one, what your bills are, because a lot of people don't know all of their bills. They don't know the date they come out. They don't know exactly how much is taken out. I know for me, some of my bills are in USD. I'm in Canada, so by the time it hits my bank account, it's converted to Canadian funds. So I may know, like for example, Netflix I think is like $14.99 USD. By the time it hits my bank account, it's probably like 18 something. So I need to track that I have the right amounts. Okay, so that would be number 1. Look at all of the things that you paid in the previous month. List all of your bills. So every time you saw a bill withdrawn from your account, list them. If you have multiple bank accounts, if you use PayPal, different bank accounts, all the things, look at all of them for the past month. List all of your bills. The date it came out, the date it cleared your bank account if you have 2 different dates, and the exact amount down to the penny. List it. So you have a complete list of all your bills. Leave the expenses aside for now, just do the bills. Then look at your debts. You can go to any credit bureau, you can go to the IRS, the CRA, all the places, Equifax, to look up what your credit is. Look up your credit history, find out what debts you have, what the balance is, what the interest rates are, what your monthly, weekly, bi-weekly payments are. Whatever the situation is, look up all of your debts, find out what you owe, to whom you owe it, and then how often are you paying them and how much, okay? You need to have that. That's research part number 2. Find out about all your debts. If you have no debts, awesome. Good job. So proud of you. I'm not being sarcastic because that's a dream of mine, is to be debt-free. If you are debt-free, bless you. Goal of mine. So just saying. Next, I want you to start looking, still in the research section, step, start thinking about what needs you have. So what are some needs that you need to cover financially? So car would be gas. If you have car payments, gas, car insurance, those would be 3 things right there. Where you're living, do you have a mortgage or rent? Home insurance? Do you have an HOA, which is something that the US have? We don't have it here, but there could be something like condo fees. What fees are there associated with where you live? If you own your home, you may want to include some home maintenance needs in there. If you rent, you don't necessarily have to have the home maintenance, but I mean, upkeep is helpful, right? Food, how much do you realistically eat in a month? And that you have to kind of look at your family, you have to kind of look at who's eating. And I would say look at groceries. Try to stay away from restaurants for now. But when you're looking at the past month, look at when you went to the grocery store and how much you spent at the grocery store each time and come up with a total. We can look at the whole restaurant situation after. And any other needs you may have. If you are in the States, again, there may be medical needs. If you have to pay for prescriptions, doctor's visits, that kind of thing. Again, here in Canada, we don't have that. We have our provincial health insurance that covers medical visits. You may have to pay for some prescriptions depending on your job benefits, but that's all individual. But those are some things that are needs. Things that absolutely have to pay. I think Dave Ramsey calls them like the 4 walls, right? You need to be able to have a roof over your head, food in your stomach, a job, transportation to and from work because you need to get there, and then your medical, right? I don't know if those are his exactly 4 walls, but those to me are some of the needs. Then with the research portion, we can start looking at saving. So planning and saving. So with that research, and you'll probably see this if you've been watching my channel before, even if you're new, I not only budget, but I also do planning. So I'll have all my planners, my monthly planners, my weekly planners, my daily planners. And that I use not only to stay organized, but also for my budgeting. Because how can I possibly budget properly if I have no idea what's coming up? How? If I don't plan out the month, even months ahead, how will I know that I have to prepare? I have, let's say, 2 birthdays this month, and I have a competition this month, and I have this to attend this month, and I have that, and all the things. I cannot budget if I don't know what's happening in my life, right? We all know about the big ticket items, the Christmas, the Easter, the March break, the holidays, the summer vacation. We know the big ticket items, and that we can plan for. But when it comes to birthdays, we know when our kids' birthdays and when our birthdays are, but our kids' friends' birthdays, they have parties, maybe nieces and nephews, extended family. We might want to buy a gift, send a card. You want to be able to track all of that. If anybody has a wedding, a baby shower coming up, an engagement party, a milestone party, a milestone anniversary, anything that's going to come up in your life, you need to know, because you need to be able to budget for it, and budgeting in advance. That's all part of the research. That's why I do a lot of planning, because that's part of my research, so I can plan ahead for my budget. All right. So you want to look at that. And once you have an idea of events and things coming up in your life, whether it's this month, next year, you can start planning ahead for saving, how you want to save for those things. What kind of room do you have in your budget for saving for those items, right? Do you have to do something extra, maybe a side hustle, to be able to save up for those items? That is all research. All of that is research. I know it's a big chunk, but honestly, that big chunk, that research is what is going to lay the foundation for your budget. And to me is the part that will help you have all of the information you need, so that moving forward into the next 2 steps makes your job a little easier and a little bit more realistic and attainable, we'll say. All right. So that said, moving on, step number 2 is writing it down. All right, so writing it down. What do I mean by writing it down? Well, essentially that means writing down all of the things you just researched, write it down. You can use, and I will go into budget planners after the steps, but you can use anything you want to write down your budget. This is where we're actually budgeting now. So main categories you need are income. What are your sources of income? For 1 month, do 1 month at a time. What are your sources of income this month? Do you have one job, a full-time job and a part-time job? Do you have a side hustle? Do you only have a part-time job? Do you have 2 part-time? Like, what is your situation? And how many income streams do you have? For me, for example, I have my full-time job, teacher. I have a part-time job. I don't talk about it, but I do have a part-time job. And then I have my side business. So I have multiple streams of income. On the side, I would like to have more, but we'll talk about that another time. But anyways, so I know what my income streams are, and I know for sure how much I'm earning from my full-time job. My pay is every 2 weeks, and it's relatively the same every 2 weeks. So I can count on that. My part-time job is slightly variable. It's not the exact same amount. It's paid monthly if it's on time, usually monthly, but it's slightly variable. It's approximately the same amount every month, but it can vary depending on the month. So, and then my business, that is a huge variable. So I don't even bank on it, we'll say. I may list a couple dollars here and there, but I don't bank on it yet. Still trying to grow all the things. But you need to look at your income, find out what your income is, how much you can expect to earn that month, and list it. Then go back to your research, copy down all your bills. How many bills do you have this month, and what do you have to pay this month? Just the bills. Okay, subscriptions, rent, insurance, car payments, that kind of thing. Anything that's automatically withdrawn from your bank account, list them, list the amount. Then you can start looking at variables. Once you have subtracted your bills from your income, you have an amount left. You can start looking at variables. Let's say you have $1,000 left. Start looking at groceries, start looking at gas, start looking at miscellaneous, because there's always miscellaneous. There is no world that there isn't a miscellaneous expense, because things pop up and then you're like, oh, I have to go buy this. So you want to have a miscellaneous category, and you can come up with as many categories as you want. But to keep it simple right now, just think of gas, groceries, and miscellaneous. Unless you have other things, like if you have kids' activities, whatever. You can break it down however you want. Subtract that also from what you had left after you subtracted the bills from income, and then you're left with whatever's left. From there, we can go on to talk about savings and stuff, but that's like a whole other category. Right now, you just want to make sure that if you take your bills, your gas and groceries, for example, and maybe a couple other bills or variable expenses, and subtract it from your income, you want to at least have a positive balance. At least nothing below zero. Because if it's below zero, maybe you have to start cutting back. So that's where you really, writing it down will help you see where you're at. Because when you did the research and you looked at all the bills, you looked at all the debts, you looked at all the things, you had the information, but now you have to actually do the math part. That's why writing it down is important. It's the math part. Simple math, it's income minus bills and variable expenses. You should have a positive balance, all right? Or at least zero. You don't want a negative. If you have a negative, start looking at things to cut. So we've written it down. We have a budget. We're good. We may not be happy with it. I'm not always happy with my budget. A lot of times I'm like, I wish I could have a bit more money for here. Maybe I need to find some extra money for this. But budget is important, and it's good to have it written down. Okay? So it's written down. Next step is tracking. All right, so now we're tracking. What do I mean by tracking? You've done all the research. You've written it all down. Now you need to track everything. So every single day, and I encourage this until you get used to budgeting and you get into a rhythm. I would highly encourage you to do this every single day. Every day, write down every single thing you purchased. Everything. If you stop at Starbucks in the morning and you buy a coffee for like $5.45, write down in a notebook. Keep a notebook, keep a phone, notepad, something where you can write down Starbucks on December, let's say 1st, $5.45. Keep a list of all of your expenses every single day. Write everything down. And every time a bill is withdrawn from your bank account, like it's paid, or if you make a payment to a bill, write down that you made that payment. On your budget, you can write down that you paid it and you're good to go. You want to track everything. Track your income as well, especially if your income is variable, if it's not the exact same all the time. If you say you estimated that you'd get $1,000 this paycheck and you get $1,250, like $1,250, not $12, but $1,250, then write down that you got $1,250. That extra $250 can help pay for other things, maybe go towards debt, maybe go towards savings, but that's all things you need to look at afterwards. Right now, we're just tracking. We're writing it down. So you write down how much you earned, and then write down everything you're spending, every single thing. If you go to the dollar store and buy one thing for $1.25. I don't know if that's what it is in the US. I know here it's $1.25, $1.50. But if you go to the dollar store and you buy one thing for $1.25 plus tax, let's say it's $1.30. I don't know. I can't do tax math. Anyways, if let's say $1.30, write it down. Right? You went to Dollar Tree and you spent $1.30. You might think that $1.30 is like, whatever, why am I tracking $1.30? Listen, if you spend $1.30 100 times, that's $130, right? So you want to make sure you are tracking it every single time, because you want to know where your money's going. You want to know where you're spending your money, where you can cut back in the future. And you can look at your budget for the past month and say, I spent a lot of money at Starbucks. Maybe I should make my coffee at home, for example. All right. So things like that you need to start looking at. So we've listed our incomes. We've listed all of our expenses. If you are starting to put money towards savings, write it down. I put $25 towards birthdays, something, sinking funds. Start doing that. And then if you make any extra payments to debt, list that. Essentially, we're tracking everything, writing everything down. That way, at the end of the month, once the 30th or the 31st has passed, you can go back, add all of the bills up, subtract it from all of your income, and hopefully you are left with a positive balance that you can put towards savings, towards extra debt payments, whatever it is you like. All right. So those to me are the three most important steps when it comes to budgeting. Would be first the research, secondly to write it all down, and then lastly to track it. The tracking part, I will be honest, is the hardest part for me. Anyways, looking at your debt is scary, yes, to see how much debt you owe, how much money you have to give other people, because I mean, I don't know anyone that wouldn't want to keep their money for themselves, but debt does need to be repaid. So that can be scary. But tracking everything, it is a lot of work. I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of work, but it is rewarding because you can then have a perfect visual of where all your money has gone and how you can tweak it. Maybe tweak your spending habits so that you can keep more money to do other things with, right? So just some thoughts. I know it's a lot of work to track all of the things, but it is super rewarding when you see patterns emerging and you can fix it in the future. Just gonna say. All right, so those are my steps to budgeting. All right, now you're probably asking now, because I mentioned it quickly when it came to writing down your budget, where are we writing all of this down? I have some ideas. All right, so where are we writing down all of the things, all of the budget, all of the tracking and everything? You have multiple options, and all of these options are available to pretty much anyone. You just have to choose one, what you feel works best for you, two, what you can afford, honestly, because some budget writing down options are more expensive than others. So if your budget is really tight, maybe spending money is not a thing right now, okay? But I'm gonna go through a few options. One, the simplest to me, the simplest option would be a notebook. Any notebook that has lined paper in it. For example, I have this notebook here. Okay, this is a small one. You can get the larger ones. Usually you can get them at Walmart for like 45 cents. Okay, so we're talking like almost no money. Just lined paper. Lined paper. Okay, even if you want to get loose leaf paper and you have like a binder at home you can keep things in, whatever works for you. The important thing is to write it down, okay? And you want to keep things in order. But having a notebook of some sort is the probably cheapest option for you, and it helps keep everything together. You don't need the stickers, you don't need the fancy pens, you don't need fancy calculators. You can use your calculator on your phone. You can use a pencil, any marker, pen you have around the house, okay? Now, I sell budget stickers, but when it comes to budgeting, that's something I do because I enjoy the budget stickers, and some people enjoy them and they like to add them to their planner, but it is not a necessity. And I know that's probably horrible for me as a business person to say, but the stickers are not a necessity when it comes to budgeting. It's something I like, something I enjoy, something that helps me come back to my planner because it's nice and colorful and looks pretty, so then I want to go back to it. If you are that type of person, maybe it is something you can look into. There are very economical options, but that's a whole other situation. But essentially, a notebook is probably the simplest way to go. Get paper and pen and write it down. Okay, so that's option number 1. Option number 2, if you are good with computers and formulas and that kind of thing, there's Excel, Google Sheets, any spreadsheets that you might have. I think Mac has different kind of spreadsheets. But if you want to do a spreadsheet on the computer, even a doc, if you wanted to do a Word doc or a Google doc where you're just listing everything, you have to do a bit of math, but it works. So you can do the whole computer thing. You can keep it on the computer, add it. You can access it from your phone if it's a Google Doc kind of thing. So you can edit, add whatever needed, but that's an option, is on the computer or on your phone, okay? Third option would be some budget apps. There are some apps out there that help you budget. You can enter your income, all of your bills, the dates that they're due, the amounts they're due. Sometimes they can send you reminders. There are 2 budget apps that I'm familiar with. One is the Every Dollar app. That's the Dave Ramsey app. I love that app. I've used it before. The only reason I don't use it now is because I can't get hubby on board. He always forgets to add things and then it throws me completely off. So I could use it for my own stuff, but it gets confusing. But the Every Dollar app is an awesome app. There is a free version and a paid version. The free version is where you enter everything, and I believe the paid version is where you can link it to your bank account, and it will automatically upload transactions, and then you just select the categories. Okay, so the Every Dollar app would definitely be an option if that's something that interests you. I only used the free version. I uploaded all my own information. I didn't see the need to pay for the paid version, but that's up to you. There is another app. I've never used this one, but I have heard other YouTubers use it, and they've been pretty impressed with it. It's called YNAB. So it's the You Need a Budget app. So YNAB. I'm not familiar with it at all, but like I said, I've heard other YouTubers say that it's a good app and it works well. So that could be an option that you look into. So those are the apps I'm familiar with. I'm sure if you looked up budget apps on Google, you could find other apps. I can't talk about them. I don't know much about them. Just thought I'd share a couple that I do know. So lastly, and this is kind of controversial in a way, are budget planners. So I have had people ask me, why would I get and pay for a budget planner if I'm trying to save money? Well, first off, there are many different options when it comes to budget planners. I'm going to list a few and I'll try to insert some pictures of them as I talk about them. But there are many options and price ranges and all the things. I'm looking at my notes. So, firstly, what I use, like I said, I started off with just a plain lined paper notebook when I started, and I put my stickers in it. Then as I was watching more YouTube videos, I came across an Erin Condren monthly planner, which is essentially a lined paper notebook, except it has monthly spreads. So you get the monthly spread, so you can get the whole monthly calendar, which to me was important because one, I need to know what's coming up so I can budget for it, but also I can list my bills. I can have a visual representation of when my bills are due, and then I added my expense stickers. I got this idea from a lot of budget YouTubers that I was watching, and I have stuck with it ever since. So the Erin Condren monthly planner, you get the monthly view and then a bunch of lined pages, and then you go to the next month. To me, has been life-changing when it comes to my budgeting. So I use two of them, actually. I use the 8.5 by 11 for our family finances, and I use the 7 by 9 size for my small business budgeting. So just to give you some ideas of costs, the 8.5 by 11 is regularly $52.50, so $52.50 US. Right now it's on sale for $36.75, just saying. And then the 7 by 9 is regularly $47.50, and it is on sale right now for $33.25. So that's the planner I use, and I will try to link all of these planners down below in the description box so that if you're interested in any of them, you can look at them. I do have an affiliate code for Erin Condren where you can save $10 off your first order if you're ordering from Erin Condren. That is also listed below if you're interested. No obligations whatsoever. To save you a bit of money, if it's your first time ordering from Erin Condren, you can save $10, which is huge, right? All right, so there's that. Erin Condren does have a budget planner. And I will talk to you afterwards why I don't use a budget planner. And I just use the lined paper version, the monthly planner. So the Erin Condren budget planner, so where everything is already set for you, is regularly $32.50 US. Is currently on sale for $22.75 US. So that's the Erin Condren section, okay? The Happy Planner has a budget option. They have a budget planner. Right now, I believe most of them are sold out. I think I saw one of them still available in a big version, which means it would be like an 8.5 by 11 size. But regular classic sized Happy Planner budget planners are about $29.99, so about $30 US, but they're sold out. I didn't get the price for the big, but that might be an option if you're interested in that one. And again, that budget planner is already preset, so it has all of the layouts that you would need. Then moving up in price range, we have the Budget Mom Budget by Paycheck workbook. She has some amazing content on her YouTube. I just don't use her planner or her workbook, but her Budget by Paycheck workbook is currently $48 US. I think it's on sale. It's regularly $50 US, and she only has the full size available, which is a larger size. The small size is sold out. Then when I was doing research, I came across Ivory Paper Co. budget planner. Theirs is regularly $70 US, but it is on sale currently for $49 US. Again, I've never seen that one in person. I've never seen any of those in person. I've only ever seen videos online on YouTube, but it is a budget planner where all the layouts are there that you may need. The last option that I have, and there are many more, like don't get me wrong, many more. But the other option I have is the Sarah Marie Humble Beginnings budget planner. And I add this because she's one of the first people that got me into budgeting with the stickers. She came out with her first budget planner last year, I believe. And she has her 2025 version on sale now. It is on Etsy, so I could only see it in Canadian dollars, so I'm not sure what it is in American dollars. But Canadian, her Humble Beginnings budget planner is $106.43 Canadian. Yeah, it's expensive. It's probably the most expensive budget planner that I've seen so far. I do understand why the cost though, because she is a one-woman show essentially. She's a small business owner. It's just her. She came up with the design and everything, and she has to have it ordered in and shipped and all the stuff. So that does make it a little bit more expensive than when you're dealing with larger companies like Happy Planner, Erin Condren. All of these look like really good budget planners. The layouts look good. I don't have anything against them, really. I will tell you the main reason why I don't use a preset budget planner. One, I'm in Canada, and a lot of the things that are pre-listed, I can't even remember the names, but there are certain things like HOA. We don't have HOA here in Canada. And there are other 401k. We don't have a 401k here. That's not a thing. We do have our RSPs, our ESPs, pensions, all the things, but we don't have a 401k. So when that's listed, yes, I could white it out and I could write my own thing. But I don't want to white it out. That's a personal preference of mine. I prefer to not have to white out things and rewrite things. I prefer to just have my own headings and I can add what I need, how I need it, which is why I do my own stickers and I use that monthly planner, because then I can make it how I need it. And I can add the bills I need, take out the bills I don't need, change it every month however I want. It's not preset, so I have a lot more flexibility to make it mine. That's the main reason why I don't use a preset budget planner, is I just don't like that it's not flexible. I like having the flexibility where I just have the heading and then I write my stuff. I don't want to be told what categories or what. I just don't. I want to write my own things. So if you're like me and you like to have your own format, write your own things and not have to white out or restructure based on somebody else's setup, then I would suggest the lined paper or the monthly planner option might be better for you. And like I said, you don't need the stickers. You can literally grab a highlighter or a marker and write budget for December, write income, list your income, and move on. All right. So that's all I'm going to say about that. All right. So those are the options when it comes to budget planners. I will always have an actual paper planner. Even when I used the Every Dollar app, I still had a paper planner because I like to have it written down. That to me is one of the biggest things that keeps me coming back, is it's written down. I have to actually write it, see it, kind of react to it, especially if it's a crazy expense. But it's there and it's in my mind. So it's not something that's easily forgotten. So, all right. Well, that was a really long video, but I wanted to talk to you all about my budgeting journey, where I'm at now, some of my tips and tricks and some options you have when it comes to budgeting. Let me know in the comments. Do you budget? Do you write it down? Do you have an app? What do you think? Is it something you would look into doing in 2025? I would be really interested in hearing all of your experiences when it comes to budgeting. I know mine has been like a roller coaster. Sometimes I'm really good at it, and sometimes I really suck at it. But it's a process. It's a difficult process, but it is a process. But like I said, it can be a rewarding process. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm always available to answer questions. I'm not a professional, just gonna say it. I am not a financial professional. I have no education in terms of financial planning and personal finances. Everything I do when it comes to budgeting and all of the things I discussed are all things that I have come across in my own research and doing my own work on my own budget. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm not a professional. Please do not take everything I say for gospel, because I can't. So not a professional, just a human being trying to work out on her for finances. So just going to leave it there. All right. I will say thank you for watching. If you are watching to the end, I sincerely appreciate you. I hope you found this video useful. Again, let me know in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow for day 4. Bye, everyone.
Jingle bells ring